Welcome everybody to the second episode of the ELG Podcast. I'm joined by Shimko. I'm joined by Shimko.
What's up, dude?
How's it going, Shimmy? How are you been?
Well, I mean, pretty much same old. I was sick for a while. My
I've
mom
been
and stepdad had COVID, so like it's just been a ride. 2021's off to a great start.
Yeah, I've been sick too. It hasn't been a very fun couple of weeks. I'm still kind of, my body's actually just now starting to get back into shape. So, but we got two guests joining us today on the podcast. We got Mr. Smiles, all smiles, Mr. Pete, and we got ExplosiveSeal with that amazing logo. Pete, why don't you introduce yourself to the audience? Let everybody know who you are.
Hi, I'm Pete. I go by Pete, but like my gamer tag is Zythxm. Everyone just call it. No one can know how to pronounce it, so I just go by Zyth or Zythxm or Pete. Make it easy. Am I like telling like what I stream and stuff, or just like?
Yeah, what do you do?
Well, I mean, I mainly focus on competitive games like Fortnite and Call of Duty. But I like to have fun in my streams, just kind of hang out, try to build a community of just people just relax and have a good time and escape from the pressures of 2021.
Very nice, very nice. Well, I'm glad everybody's probably glad to see the face behind FP. Our little inside joke. ExplosiveSeal, why don't you introduce yourself, Miss Lily?
Hi, I'm ExplosiveSeal. I do sponsorship acquisition for ELG as well as HR assistance. I basically just shitpost on Twitter all day.
Yeah, you definitely do. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Words are hard, Ozark. We get it.
Listen, for some odd reason, I'm struggling today, and we're having technical issues with my camera. If you guys can't tell, that my audio is probably just a millisecond behind. So I've been trying to figure that out, and I can't figure it out. Words are hard. So yeah. Moving right along, we're gonna get into our first topic, and that's going to focus on Mr. Pete. Pete, you're a competitive Fortnite player, and just a little hint and a little bit of a on what you might actually be doing for the org soon. What got you into competitive Fortnite to begin with?
I mean, I remember when Fortnite first started, everyone's like, "You gotta play Fortnite. You gotta play Fortnite. You gotta play Fortnite." And I was like, "Okay, I'll download it and try it out." And this was not the first big battle royale, because there's games like H1Z1 and DayZ were the few big ones. But this one was different than them because it wasn't just a shooting mechanic; it was a building mechanic. And I was kind of just worn out from Call of Duty, so I was like, let me give this a try. And then I got good at it, and I was like, well, because I'm a competitive COD player, what is there in the world of competitive Fortnite? So I just started, worked on my builds and edits and all that crazy stuff. And then now I'm just trying to compete and just because I was a big sports person growing up, like playing play basketball, running track and stuff like that. So as you get older, it's harder to compete and find leagues to do it in.
Yeah.
So this is something for me to get my competitive juices flowing, stuff like that.
Very nice. Yeah. I played basketball in high school, and I was a part of a church league for the longest. But once you get older, it's just, if it's not something you want to make a career out of, sports is kind of just a hard thing to get into when it comes to leagues. I don't know. I get what you mean though. But I've watched your streams before, and I gotta say, for anybody who doesn't know Pete, this guy is absolutely cracked at Fortnite, and I wanted to bring him onto the show for that exact reason. He might actually, we've been talking to Pete about joining ELG as the first official Fortnite player. That's still in the works, but that's a little leak that we give one leak a podcast, and that's today's leak, is that it might happen. It all comes down to Pete. But when did you actually first start getting into tournaments for Fortnite?
Well, there's always small Twitter tournaments, and I was like, you know what? What's the worst that happens if I enter this free tournament and I lose? Like, I got experience out of it. So I started with a couple small tournaments. I placed pretty well on them, and then Arena came out, of course. So then I started grinding Arena. And then Fortnite actually has a compete tab now on their main screen, in their game. So whenever I see a tournament pop up, I try to get all my schoolwork done and set up, get everything, all my priorities straight, and then grind this tournament. And I think the last tournament I played in was it was like a couple months ago. It's like the Winter Royale, one of the last Winter Royale tournaments, and it was actually funny because I haven't played. I took like a month or two off from Fortnite because of COD, and then my buddy's like, "You want to play this trios tournament with me?" And we're like, "Yeah, why not?" And then we actually ended up placing top 5%, which was pretty crazy because I haven't played competitive Fortnite at that time for like 2 months.
2 months.
Yeah, I took like a good month break because I was trying to pursue competitive COD, but some things happened and a door closed and then another door opened. So
okay, I mean, as an esports player, you got to take every opportunity you can get. Coming from a Halo player, I know exactly what that's like. But okay, we can head on. We'll come back to you. We're gonna talk to Seal real quick. Seal. Hello?
Yes.
Oh,
Hello.
there she is.
I'm eating Doritos.
Oh, of course you are. You're always eating something. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, look, don't make me feel fatter than I am.
You're not. So you as you said in your intro, you're the sponsorship manager for the organization. How does one get into something like that? Like, how did you just wake up one day like, I'm gonna be a sponsorship manager? That's what I want to do.
So it started back during like COD Modern Warfare 3, like when the COD Elite series came out and they were doing small tournaments for that.
Mhm.
I had a bunch of friends who wanted to play. None of them actually had anything good. Like none of them had an actual setup, anything that you need to actually play, a comfortable environment to actually do good in. Like we had dudes that played on like fold out kitchen tables. Like the little ones you use that bring oh, it was bad. So I got into that purely to help out friends. Started messaging around, looking at forums. I basically had to teach myself how to talk to companies because I'm very blunt with people. I don't do the PR linguistics. So going from like older companies to newer, especially when you start to really get to know them, you have a bit more leeway and leverage, but you still have to realize, hey, there's like 30 other people in line. Slow your roll. So it's a very tedious and grueling process.
Okay.
A lot of no's.
So you started off in Call of Duty. I did not know that that you started off in COD. A lot of people seem to either start off in Call of Duty or Halo. But where were you? What were you doing before ELG?
So before ELG, I don't know who was going to watch this, but this might ring a sad bell. I was a sponsor for Aura, and I was working on getting them their house.
Oh, okay.
That was out of my pocket.
So you were affected by that. I'm sorry. That's another thing.
It's all good.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I don't even want to talk. That's a conversation we
that's
cannot.
Bad juju. That's
we
bad juju.
can't talk about that conversation, unfortunately.
My cam froze. 1 second.
We're live. We are live, Zim. I can edit that out.
JPEG.
Listen, we're having technical difficulties no matter what we're doing. I mean, I have my camera is like a millisecond off, and then Zim, and then I screw up the intro. Like, what am I doing? What are we doing, guys? I'm just kidding. But okay,
before Aura, if we can't really talk about that.
No, let's not talk. Let's skip the whole Aura situation.
Yeah, so before Aura, I actually played semi-competitive Rainbow Six Siege, like I was Challenger.
Oh, really?
So that's basically semi-pro level. I was there for about 2 years before I finally dropped out. adding new operators into the meta every season just got to a point where I could not compete.
The times change, man. I mean, Pete can probably contest with that as with Fortnite. Like
the meta changes about once every 2 weeks.
It's crazy.
I love it.
I don't. Meta changing in esports is. I wouldn't say when I competed in Halo, the meta would change probably like every other like couple months, but Fortnite changes like almost every other day.
Yeah.
I can't really, I don't play COD, so I wouldn't know anything about COD. I know League of Legends has been around forever, so that meta's, you got different starters coming out and stuff like that. I don't know what the proper term is for.
What's going on with your mic?
What?
What's going on with your mic?
Does Discord have the right mic?
I don't know. Am I lagging?
No.
No.
You just sound really far away.
Oh, well, it's probably because I'm using this microphone. Is that better, guys?
Yeah, that's much better.
Right, a little bit.
I can't wait when COVID's finally over, where we could do these podcasts in person, because this whole Zoom Discord situation is so hard to handle. Like, I would love to go downtown and fly Shimmy out. Shimmy would probably fly out himself, and we'd get a studio downtown at the Civic Center, and just get a full-blown podcast going. That's probably something we could talk about in the future. But that would be dope.
Go to AJ's dad's house.
We could just go to AJ's dad's house and do a podcast in their production room. That would be cool.
And that's near me.
We're planning things out tonight.
We're leaking more than one thing now at this point.
We're leaking a lot of things. Jesus. So to get a little bit off topic, unfortunately, as we said at the beginning, Shimmy and I have been sick, and we missed a lot of things the past week when it comes to organization stuff. Like, Shimmy, did you 100% have COVID, or?
Well, see, the crazy thing about it is I don't think I had COVID, right? Like, all my tests came back negative and everything. I just think that it was a combination of stress and just lack of sleep that from dealing with everything else that just caused my body to kind of go into shutdown.
Your sleep schedule is absolutely horrendous too. So
yeah, lack of sleep will do it to you, that's for sure.
Definitely. When I got my when I first got sick, I think it was Wednesday. I can't remember the date. It's been like 2 weeks now. 2 weeks ago on a Wednesday, I got sick. I got a fever at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I texted my boss immediately, be like, hey, I got a fever, but I was going to wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning to go to the gym. So I'll let you know if I still have my fever. I still had my fever. I had a fever up until Saturday afternoon. So it sucked. So we 100% thought that I had COVID. But I had to drive 35 minutes to go get my COVID test on Friday. Nobody was able to drive with me. Nobody wanted to drive me because they didn't want to get COVID, which was completely understandable. So, but Saturday afternoon, I woke up at like 5 o'clock in the, like 5:30, and I felt fine. Like, the fever broke. I felt fine. I felt obviously sluggish, but I still laid in bed. Like, I was in bed except when I drove, Friday to go to get my COVID test, I was in bed the entire time. So I went to sleep, woke up Sunday, and I felt like I had energy. So I texted my boss, be like, we just got my COVID test back. It came back negative. And they're like, hooray, can you come into work tonight? And I'm like, I might be a little sluggish, but yeah, I'll come into work tonight. I've already missed like 5 days. So, and it was the Browns against the Steelers game, and I really wanted to make money. And being a delivery driver, could have made a lot of money. But anyway, I went to get up from the bed, and I don't know, like my body just completely broke down. I stood up. I instantly felt in my stomach that something wasn't right. Like, think constipation, like that feeling when you have to take the biggest shit of your life, and you immediately go to the bathroom. And So I tried going to the bathroom, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to the bathroom. I was like, okay, maybe I can drink some water, take some pills. And then the pain just kept getting worse and worse and worse. I tried to walk out of the bathroom, and it just hit me right in the middle of the stomach. I collapsed to the floor in the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. And I thought it was going to pass, and it just kept getting worse and worse. And I was like, okay, I need to call somebody. So I called my girlfriend, and I was like, you need to get to the house like right now. Like, I'm crying, screaming in pain. She got here. We tried to get myself up, and we were thinking about wanting to get an ambulance, but I didn't want to pay those bills. So I was like, literally put any clothes, put a hoodie on, put something on. Like, I put my moccasins on, and I limped out of the apartment complex. And that drive to the hospital probably was the longest drive of my life, and it's only like 15 minutes down the road. So, it was not a good time at all. Let me tell you.
It sounds awful, dude.
Well, they immediately put me on morphine because I couldn't stand the pain that I was in, and that's when I knew that it was something serious, because they don't just give you morphine for nothing. So
Right.
like the doctor was, he was touching my stomach and like pushing and putting pressure, and it was painful. So they immediately put me on morphine, and I was doped up for a while. But yeah, they came back that I had a it's pretty. I want to say it's like a stomach ulcer, but it's called enteritis. It's where your lower intestine becomes inflamed, and it can cause the intense pains that I was feeling. If I didn't get the help that I was supposed to get, like I did, my body would have gone into shock, and that would have caused organ failure. So
That's not good.
no, it's it's not good. I'm glad I was smart enough to actually not push it aside and thinking that it was just, constipation and that I had to go to the bathroom. But yeah, it was not a very good time.
Shoot, that reminds me of I used to have like real bad pains that for the longest time I could never really identify where it came from. Sent me to the hospital a couple times. Come to find out it was my gallbladder, right? And like when I tell you the worst pain I've ever felt is that type of thing. And I've broken bones, shot, stabbed, the whole 9 yards. If you
Mhm.
could think of it, I've probably had it happen to me. But that little organ, man, it's crazy how sometimes things that seem just
Small
small can
could be painful.
accumulate and just get to a point of absolute, just misery.
And it was really weird. They said I had a kidney stone that I'm still currently in the process of passing, and it's just like how can something so small, it's a little, like, not even like a the size of a sand piece, like, grind.
Right.
I don't know what the proper word to call a sand pebble is, but like, how can something so small,
Grain.
so I used a proper term. How can something so small cause so much pain? It doesn't make any.
Look at a mosquito bite. How big is their teeth or whatever?
They're little pointers. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't. It's not really a teeth. It's their little
their stinger.
their stinger.
I can actually answer that on the kidney stones.
Give me an answer, please, because I want to know. I want to know
The
why
reason
my back
why
hurts
is
so much.
Because essentially, like the kidney, right, is a filter,
Right.
and the stones are bigger than the filter. I.e., so like imagine like a sponge almost, and trying to force a piece of rock through a sponge without tearing it. Same concept with your kidney. That's why passing them is so rough.
Huh. So what you're telling me is, like, a week from now, I'm going to be in intense pain again?
The degree of pain on kidney stones typically varies, but they do have the potential to be very painful. Yes.
Well, that's great. That's just amazing. I
And
thought,
sometimes they pass, without incident. But depending on the severity of the stone, yeah, it could be pretty rough because like organs like that don't actually have pain receptors.
Oh.
They go into essentially a panic, so they cause all of the pain nerves surrounding it to go haywire. That's why like gallbladder pain is so intense, and like kidney stones is why it hurts so much, is because it's because the organ itself cannot properly relay what's going on to the brain, so it kind of like sends everything else into overdrive.
Mhm.
And it's rough.
I don't want to experience. Excuse my yawning. I don't want to experience the pain that I was in ever again. Like I'm still. I guess you could say I have PTSD. Like every time I stand up, I feel like I'm going to be put into cardiac arrest because my stomach is about to explode.
Yeah,
But-
So
it's
did y'all
insane.
have COVID?
No,
No.
Oh,
my
Well,
test came.
I mean,
I
that's
had
good though.
Yeah, I mean, I had the flu. So the reason why I got so bad, and my girlfriend hates it when I bring this up, but the reason why I got so bad is the doctors say I had the flu. So I had the flu, and I was taking, I think it was like vitamin C, vitamin D, the stuff they tell you to take for COVID, when you have COVID. And I was taking another pill. I don't remember what it was, but my body
Honey and
did
blue.
yeah, something. My body didn't need that, essentially. Like I was taking something that I already had enough of in my body. So my body just reacted. It was basically every time I took a pill, it was eating my stomach alive, pretty much. So it made my body have a terrible reaction taking the pills that I didn't need, which is why I don't like taking pills to begin with, because I know things like that happen when you take something that you don't need. It can cause really bad problems, but that's why I ended up getting enteritis, because I was taking pills and I wasn't eating. Like I just wasn't taking the proper precautions, if I can say that. Yeah, that's basically why I ended up in the hospital, because I was taking things I didn't need and I wasn't properly taking care of myself when I had the flu. So,
Well, we're glad that you're alive.
yeah. I mean, me too. I mean, I wasn't going to die. I'm not going to sit here and over exaggerate saying that I was going to die, but it felt like I was. I mean, at one point I thought to myself, am I dying? Like, why is my stomach like on fire? But yeah, so.
Yeah, so not COVID, just a series of unfortunate events.
Basically, just a series of unfortunate events.
2020 in a nutshell.
Pretty much.
And almost 2021.
I mean, we're starting off strong.
Yeah, we are.
I guess that's a really
Everything's
good.
fine, guys.
That's-
Everything's fine.
That's a good topic that we can discuss. Is 2020? Oh my God! Why don't we talk about our 2020s? That sounds like a fun discussion to have on a podcast. Let's talk about the worst years of our lives.
All right, sure. What?
Seal.
And welcome to the Depression Podcast.
Yes, we are now on the Depression Podcast. Seal, why
Real
don't we
sad boy hours.
why don't we start off with you? How did your 2020 go?
Okay. I got into, so January was kind of okay-ish. I mean, 2019 was rough for me, so it was my bad year. January was fine. February, Valentine's Day was really good, actually. Like, February as a whole was pretty good. I think nothing really happened up till like July. Then COVID was actually like a big issue, quote unquote, because people were actually taking it seriously, and it was way too late. So by then, like, I was having issues getting my meds from the VA because normally I went to pick them up. Oftentimes, like, they wouldn't even let you in because the VA pharmacy that's in like the actual VA hospital, you can't go in unless you were like a COVID patient because they basically had it on lockdown. It was bad, like to the point where like I fell behind 3 months of pills that I was supposed to be taking, and I'm on a lot of painkillers. So that was bad. I think the worst was like October, the same month as the fiance's birthday. I got into a fight at the plaza downtown. The plaza's like the bus stop basically for everything, and yeah, I got into a fight there. That was pretty bad.
That's not
It's
good.
not what you want.
No, it's not really what I want. Now, granted, that's not terrible because like it's the plaza. They
you
literally
win?
have. I mean, I pulled a gun on him, so does that
Oh,
count?
okay, you win.
Right.
I have a concealed carry. I'm not gonna fuck around and find out with a knife.
Damn. Seal's
Okay, so you
not.
won. That's
Seal's,
good.
Yeah.
Seal's not messing around.
I mean, I don't really. I don't fuck around at all. Like
Work smarter, not harder.
exactly. Oh, you have a knife? That's funny.
Is it faster than my bullet?
I mean, what is a knife? But what is a bullet? But a high velocity knife.
My lord, we just went to a rated R podcast. We're changing.
18
My
plus
lord.
girls.
18 plus. Okay, so continuing on, how'd the rest of your
All right.
2020 go?
I worked at Amazon for the month of December, and then effectively quit because peak season could suck the loudest fart out of my asshole.
Okay.
Because that was just terrible. Like, okay, so Amazon wants you to pack 200 plus boxes an hour during peak season if you're on the packing line. I struggle to pack Christmas presents. Assemble box, put stuff in, send it down the line. 200 an hour. I was dead every night I came home. On
Yeesh.
top of that, I caught COVID like literally first day after training week, and that ended my 2020. Was actually getting COVID.
That sucks. That sucks a lot. I remember when you told us that you had COVID.
Oh yeah, I got it 3 times during 2020. 3 consecutive testing positives.
Yeesh.
Oh, that's great.
Outside of the 3-month period. Actually,
Wow.
like one of like only I think it's like 3,000 plus people who've only done it like 3 consecutive times, and they're not like false positives.
Man.
So,
Well, that's depressing.
What a
Let's
year.
on to the
What
next
a
depressing
year.
story. Pete, how'd your 2020 go?
Well, started off good. I was I was actually living in Colorado to start my 2020, and I was working a full-time job as an accounting assistant with a company called RX Automation Solutions. And then so I'll skip the the boring stuff. March happened, my birthday. I flew home for that for about a week. That was fun. Came back. We were told because we were bought out by a different company, we had to take a drug test. And living in Colorado, some substances and herbs are legal.
That's correct.
And so a month off was not fun as time. I'm not gonna say I didn't handle it the best, but and plus having anxiety does not help because I was just freaking out about this drug test. So about a month later in April, I ended up COVID didn't help, but I ended up having to resign from my job and move back home in Pennsylvania with my parents, which love them to death. Shout out to mom and dad. Thank you for letting me back into your house. And then, so fast forward a couple months, I started working at Under Armour on the freight team, and that involves me waking up at 4 a.m. So that's always fun.
Jeez.
But then I went back to school, which was really good. I go to Penn State Abington. Go Penn State. We are. But then school started, and then I really started to focus on streaming this year at 2020. So it kind of like I got affiliate. Another milestone was 200 followers that I actually ate a Carolina Reaper pepper for. I
That
took it
was
like
funny.
a champ.
weak.
No, he
Hey,
took it. He
still-
took it like a champ.
Still did it.
He took it like a champ.
Oh no, I just eat those things regularly.
Oh,
I mean, I have some more right here if you want one.
Yo, share, please.
jeez.
Come over.
I used to
But,
I used to like grow those things. They're great.
And then after that, really just kind of, trying to stay healthy. I mean, I take COVID very seriously. I mean, probably a little more serious than I should, but just working, going to school, and then December happened, and honestly, my year wasn't that bad. Oh yeah, it was ups and downs, but it ended in very well, just with my family, just having a kind of relaxed Christmas since the COVID restrictions, and then a good New Year with ending it with a fun night with the homies on Discord call.
Nice. Very nice. Well, yours wasn't as depressing as I thought it was going to be. Not saying that your life is depressing. But all right, Mr. Shimmy, you and your shaking camera. How was your 2020?
Sorry.
It's okay.
Restless leg.
You're good. I got one
feel
too.
that one.
2020 actually started out pretty great. I was really starting to raise the bar in the competitive Magic scene. I was getting to know some professional players, spend time playtesting, learning, talking to them. I attended my first fully sponsored Magic tournament in Indianapolis in February. And then COVID happened and Magic tournaments got shut down for the foreseeable future. So, Sag. Along with that, I lost my job to COVID because my entire department got axed because it basically couldn't exist. Well, people didn't exist. So that sucked. And the other thing that I really enjoy doing, which is going to concerts, also don't happen anymore.
Yeah.
So I've been spending 6 months plus now doing none of the things that I used to, love to do. Traveling to Magic events, competing just in tournaments in general, going to concerts, and my work. So it kind of all sort of fell apart, and I went through a bit of a rough patch there for a while, but thankfully things are
We all
at
do.
least semi looking on the up and up. I would really, really love it if people would start actually doing what they're supposed to do, so we can kind of get back to the things that we all love and enjoy.
Yeah.
And
Please
so,
wear your mask.
Wear your
yes,
masks, guys.
Please wear your mask.
If you're watching live on Twitch or if you're watching the podcast on YouTube, wear your mask. This is your ELG official announcement to wear your mask. But yes, I'm going to elaborate on your
Words, English, sentences.
I'm struggling today. I don't know what's going on. I think it's because I took a nap and I'm just like I've been yawning this entire time and I'm trying not to. But going to concerts was something that I missed the past year. I saw, I didn't go to a lot of concerts in 2019. I saw Saying Hello live at ELG DreamHack. But concerts are just so much fun, especially I'm an EDM fan, so I go and
oh hell yeah,
and freaking
rage,
go hard and rage in the crowd and bump into people. But are you done with your 2020?
Oh, I mean, essentially for the most part, unless everybody just wants to hear me complain some more.
I mean, if you've got this is a round table. We're talking about our feelings, how 2020 made us feel. Let us know how you feel, Shimmy.
I mean, man, no, just the main thing about it was that it really sucked because and it's going back to Magic because Magic was one of the things that I found that I really enjoyed because of the level of complexity that is involved in it, especially when competing. But I haven't thought this much since I used to play chess tournaments, right? But I like the increased level of variance that can be brought on. It's just the most depressing part about it was in a little less than a year, I had already, gone from not knowing the game at all to winning all of the tournaments at my local level and, getting sponsored to travel to go play events, and then to get something like that just kind of, I can't really say ripped away, because like it's not like people just were like, "Hey, you can't do this anymore." It was a, it's a global pandemic, and I understand why, we shut things down and turn things. But it's always rough, and anybody that's competed in anything really knows the struggle of, feeling like you're finally getting somewhere and then having those doors close. And, it can be discouraging. We just have to kind of take a step back and try to find either the lesson or the positives in even the things that don't work out for us. And that's probably my biggest takeaway from 2020 is, accepting what's not in our control, but doing the best with what is.
I miss the LAN events.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
LAN events are fun.
Just like, not that the level of competition is still not there, but as you see with our technical difficulties right now, imagine how many technical difficulties going on when you're trying to run a tournament.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, it's-
Online
What? How many
tournaments in
teams with the CDL? 8 teams right now with the CDL. Give or take.
Online tournaments in 2020 across the esports world have been a shit show, just to say the least. It's been bad. Now there have been like local events happening in 2020 that happened in 2020 that shouldn't have happened. Especially, I'm not going to name the tournament organizers and all that, but they were in the Call of Duty scene, and there were a few Halo lands that were taking place. I understand precautions were, took place and they were used, but it's still like, come on, that just looks bad on your esports when you do stuff like that during a pandemic. But my 2020, Jesus, was a shit show. I don't even know where to begin. I mean, everybody on this planet knows how 2020 started for me. I think I've talked about it enough, and we're not gonna get into it on today's podcast because we talked about it on the last podcast. So I'm not gonna sound like a broken record. But getting into, starting therapy in February and going to see a counselor twice a week for 4 months. But when COVID hit, it put me back just a little bit because, one, I couldn't see my therapist. It was like it was weird because 1 week I was allowed to see her, and then the next week I wasn't. It was just like, oh well, we're being extremely cautious about things, and I'm like, that's completely understandable. I am live, young lady. No, I'm just kidding. But it actually really sucked because Ohio shut down on my birthday. On March 16th is when Ohio shut down, and I was really excited. It was going into month 2 into therapy, and I started feeling like a normal human again, and I didn't have to rely on I had, my coping mechanisms to rely on is this and that, and started feeling normal. And it's just like, now I can't go out and do things. It's like I'm actually starting to feel normal. And now, I want to go hang out with friends. I want to go do things. Now I can't do that. So mentally for me, when that happened, it kind of sucked. But it also showed how strong I really was as a person because I fought through it, and I kept, I stood my ground and kept with my coping mechanisms. I went jogging every night. I lost from this time last year. I was 215 pounds last January. I am now 178 pounds. So I've lost a lot of weight. And it's really weird when I look back at my my VODs or pictures and stuff. Like, I don't recognize the person that I am physically. I don't recognize the person that I am today, and I can emotionally I'm a bit different, I can say. But moving on, so when I joined ELG, I believe it was in April. I've been in ELG for almost a year. That's crazy. I joined ELG in April. I never stopped working because I'm a delivery driver, so I can't really, I have nothing to say about, COVID affecting my job, because it actually made my job better because everybody wanted to do delivery. So my money, I was very fortunate that I still had a job during COVID, and a very good job during COVID, and it helped the food industry. I wouldn't say it helped the food it helped. It helped.
It changed
it changed the food industry for the better, for the worse. Now, sit-in restaurants, they struggled, obviously. For fast food restaurants, such as McDonald's, Taco Bell, or like delivery services like DoorDash, or if you're a pizza delivery driver like me, it helped. It helped. So I was very, very grateful that I still had a job. But other than that, like, the rest of my 2020 was all about just continuing bettering myself. So like I pushing myself to do more things. I met my current girlfriend in July. I'm still with her. She's in the next room being a butt. But towards the end of 2020, I started doing content again, and I'm absolutely loving it. Like, content creation has always been a dream of mine ever since I was in high school, when I started doing like video productions, stuff like that. And I hit a bump in the road with my mental health, but I'm not going to let that stop my further continuation in the content. So when I started doing content creation again, it really, it's fun. I love it. So, but yeah, that's basically my 2020 in a nutshell. Was, my mental health going to crap, therapy for four months, ELG, meeting new girlfriend, continuing content. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Coming out stronger on the other side.
Coming out stronger. Damn, that's a good way to put it. I started off 2020 terribly. We ended 2020 with a bang, and we're gonna keep going. Everybody, this goes for everybody. Like, 2020 sucked, but it's 2021 now. Like, not saying that a year makes it a difference, but it's like a human mindset thing. Like, everybody always says that, oh, it'll always be better next year. Like, it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, it's something in the human brain that makes us think that like the next year is going to be better. And it's just like, all around, it's like a mindset thing. But
it's like, hey, we got through this one.
Keep that mic down.
Just keep going.
Oh yeah, that's right. You guys can't hear me without this. I don't know why Discord does that. It's so weird.
I have a question for everyone, if I'm allowed to ask it.
Of course. What's up? We're just chilling.
So, I mean, like, I know a lot of us here in this call right now had some roots in some sort of competitive gaming. I might be biased with this, but what do you guys think are the funnest end games in competitive? Like a map, map 7, round 11 S&D and COD, or I don't know about Halo, but what's the end game in Halo like? And then Fortnite. I personally think Fortnite has the best end game in any esports. But,
it's definitely exciting. Yeah. I can agree with that. Fortnite, end game. You got like, what, say like 20 people left, and the circle's just like that big, and everybody's fighting. Yeah. That shit's exciting. But Call of Duty, you got game 7 S&D.
Yeah.
Like, you're on, I don't know how many rounds there are in S&D. I think there's 11. You're on the 11th round. Like, that's exciting. Halo's weird when it comes to that, because there's respawn in Halo. You have team deathmatch in Halo, and that's actually something that the Halo community has talked about for years about getting rid of. But it's such a part of Halo, having Team Slayer. But I guess for Halo it would be game 5 Slayer, and it comes down to like 48, 49, and everybody's just shitting themselves, hiding in a corner, trying not to die, trying not to be that person who dies. Like, I guess that would be Halo's, unless, like, if you want to be reverse sweeping somebody. That's not really end game though. But I guess that's the only thing I can think of for Halo.
But then R6 has the round 5, right? Or round 7, or whatever it is.
It depends. It really depends because there's been times where you literally get a tie and they'll have you run it back.
Oh,
because there's legitimately trades where the system will say it's a draw. Because when you get to that pro play where you both engage at the same time, kill each other at the exact same time, like headshot, the system can and will say draw, and you'll have to run it back. And at that point, I think that's top tier because there's no more anxiety than knowing that you were that close. Now you have to run it back, and they know your surprise strat that you just pulled out.
I've had that happen in there are it's more recent Halo history. I wouldn't say more recent, but you do have to do restarts if there's a tie, especially in capture the flag, or the rare occasion where like I was talking about earlier, 49-49, where you trade a kill and it becomes 50. You have to restart the entire thing, and then you end up losing by like 40 kills. That shit has happened to me before at a tournament, and it's one of the most I don't think degrading's the proper word, but it's like demoralizing things in esports is when you tie 50-50 or something, and then you play the redo and you lose by a lot. It's just like, what happened? It's like you just think about it for like a week. It's like, dang, we could have went on to the next round if we would have just got one kill. Like,
yeah, I mean, Fortnite doesn't really have that because I mean it's a battle royale, so it just comes down to the last team. But I mean, my whole thing is like you got to keep track of your points in your head, even though it says it, and then keep track of other teams' points because, like,
there's never been a trade in Fortnite.
No.
That's surprising. Like, what if somebody dies?
I've been personally traded in a game, but not the end of the game.
That's weird. I like just think of that scenario. If
hit scan versus projectile registering.
Yeah, that's all it comes down to.
But,
and right now, it's online tournament. Who has better internet?
Yeah. So think about this scenario in a Fortnite tournament. Say like there's millions on the line, and one player's all the way up top, and the other player's all the way at the bottom, and they both have the same health, same amount of just circumstance thing. This is just a hypothetical. They start healing at the same time, right? You know, when the final storm hits and there's no more circle, and then all of a sudden they die at the same exact time to the circle. What happens then?
I don't think that's ever happened. I don't know. Because Fortnite, just because you win a map doesn't mean you won the tournament. It's all point based.
Right.
And there's times to get super aggressive and there's times to play very passive. But in that situation, hypothetically, that usually doesn't happen to heal off. It usually comes down to one person having heals and the next person shooting the high ground person or just trying to get any damage they can on the person who has heals. So I've never seen that situation happen, and I have watched a lot of competitive Fortnite in my time just studying and learning.
That would be something. Just imagine watching that live. I wonder, like, they have to have like somewhere in the rule book about who gets what point. Like, what if it was the final map and like it was just like down to like stuff like that? That's something I would actually really want to know. They have to have that in the rule book somewhere. I wouldn't know, but that'd be.
I was sad that there was no Fortnite World Cup for last year because I really wanted to try to compete in it.
Yeah,
because I played in the first qualifiers and I didn't make it, but that's when I really wasn't that good. Now a whole 2 years changes a lot, but I was definitely sad that they canceled the Fortnite World Cup.
Canceled a lot of things, man. 2020 was just
minimum $50K if you just qualified.
That's life-changing money right there. Yeah, life-changing money.
Booga, a 14-year-old at the time or 15-year-old, $3 million.
I like how every news agency that was basically Boomerville just shit all over that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you sit at home, you dropped out of school to play video games? How do parents encourage that? $3 million. Oh, well, I guess I better go download Fortnite then. Shut the fuck up.
I love when older people think they can just play video games and be good at it. It's just like, no, that's not how it works, buddy.
It takes time and effort, and a lot of natural ability with
Natural ability, brain power, like to play esports on a high level you have to have a really high IQ to even compete on levels like that. So
yeah,
I
because
feel
I know
like
in Fortnite, like the top 1%, like all the pros, they're either mechanically very well good at the game or have a high IQ of the game and are above average mechanically, of course. But the best players have a best of both worlds, where they're one of the best mechanically and have one of the best game sense in the game IQ, which is hard to do.
If we want to talk about intensity in game scenarios, Map 5, Round 30, Counter-Strike.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
Of a grand finals. That intensity I have never seen in any other esport. Like, yeah, round 11s and COD S&D, even in grand finals, are super cool. Halo, even like League and Dota have had insane hype moments, but there's just something about a round 30 in a grand finals of a Counter-Strike game where like you can feel it in the air.
Yeah.
And it's
sure.
absolutely insane because it's either this is it, they won, or oh crap, we're going to overtime. Like,
yeah.
And there have been so many times where the team that forces overtime, especially if they came back from a serious deficit, will come through and end up winning the map. And it's like it can have such a swing on just everything about the experience that it's
what I think that helps
crazy.
in that scenario is the ecosystem in Counter-Strike itself, because one team, if you're the losing team on a roll, you're gonna have very high eco, and the other team they gotta tactically save it and lose a round on purpose, per se, a couple rounds on purpose just to get their money up.
Yes, yeah, the economy system is huge. And that's another thing that makes like those late rounds so intense, is because you'll see people, they have to buy whatever they can get their hands on, even if it's not the most ideal, because it's round 30. That's it. You lose, you're gone. Like, that's the end of the road. But then, if you can pull out the overtime, you start out with an absurd amount of cash for your half. So you can, it's like, okay, we managed to pull it out. Now let's show them what we're really made of with a full buy. And it's just insane. There's really no other words for it.
I agree with that, definitely.
There's nothing better than rushing long A on Dust with Tech 9. There's nothing better than just a full team rush with that, because the memery that wins is always better. I'll never forget watching people do a full Negev buy and just literally watching bomb sites 2-2-1. So 2 on A, 2 on B, 1 on mid.
Yeah.
Just with Negevs.
There was a major tournament where Fnatic ended up winning when it was, the Fnatic era and Global Offensive, where Olafmeister had more kills with the Tech 9 than he did with the AK-47.
That sounds about right.
That's crazy.
Who remembers when the 5.7 used to be the go-to, where you would eco even if you won, because you could still win with a 5.7?
Yeah.
And then the R8. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, no. Ah, fuck.
I mean, hey, you can just go for the Deeg. 1 Deegs every time.
Yeah, but when the R8 came out, it one shot to the torso.
Yeah, that was disgusting.
Anyway.
Well, Well, we've actually gone over an hour, boys. The time flies when you're having fun. But my goodness. I guess we can wrap it up there because I know everybody's got their. Yeah. What are you doing, Pete?
Mike, you bumbling buffoon.
I'm sorry. I keep forgetting, okay? Like, when I do my personal streams, this is up because obviously I have this microphone, but like I keep forgetting
I can't hear you when you put it down.
I keep forgetting that you guys can't hear me. But I guess we can wrap it up there and do an outro really quick. Like, make this easy on myself, unlike the intro that we had. Yeah, let's do it. Everybody in Twitch chat, I've seen. Unfortunately, guys, just to let you guys know, the podcast is over. We're about to do an outro because we do edit this down for YouTube purposes, but we do not read chat, or our notifications are off while the podcast is going on, so we can stay focused during the podcast. But let's do a quick outro for the YouTube video. But okay. All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. As always, I was joined by Shimko, Zimith, Pete, and Lily ExplosiveSeal. Now, I do know that Pete does stream. Pete, why don't you do a little plug for your stream? Where can people catch you live?
You can catch me live at twitch.tv/Zythxm, and that's spelled Zythxm.
Okay. Seal, do you stream?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, plug.
Twitch.tv/ExplosiveSeal.
Shimmy, you still stream? Plug your stream.
What's up? Yeah, same as my Twitter at Shimiko. Twitch.tv/Shimiko, SHIMECO. It's my computer's been having a bit of trouble, but we're making it work. We're getting there.
We're getting there. And you guys can catch me live at twitch.tv/Ozarts. I am live at 9:30 every other day, Eastern Standard Time. But we want to give a special shout out to our sponsors, Glitch Energy, a Zip Gaming Chair, Aporia Customs, Gamer Grind, and HyperX. Without you guys, none of this would be possible. We appreciate all of our sponsors and all of our fans, all of our members here at ELG. But that is all for today's podcast. We will catch you guys and the next one later. Give a wave.
Later.
Wave.